I haven't heard. That's okay. I'm formally starting the meeting then at 3:05 p.m. on January 26th, I believe. Make sure I've got the day right. Yeah, 26th. Good. All right.
I'm just gonna lie down, so don't mind me. Just put my foot up.
That's fine. That's fine. No calisthenics will be required for this meeting. So we have a pretty short agenda. I just wanted to touch base with everyone. I had decided I was waiting to see if we could get that tree conservation and replacement local law reviewed and passed, but I don't think it's going to happen for a little while. Things have kind of picked up in the village as far as activity within the planning board and the code enforcement office. So I basically just changed that section to state that this local law would be forthcoming and kind of what it plans to do. And that's the only change I made. So I would like to send this off and have it discussed, at least the first discussion on this with the Board of Trustees on February 7th, if that's okay with everyone. Did you all get a chance to look at that section and see if I had changed the verb tense and so forth properly? Or
can you put it up on the screen?
yes,
just so we could have a look at it again.
Let me share my screen. Okay. I just have to find the right window to open. There we go. Sure. Okay, and let me make it a little larger. It won't let me make it larger. Can you read that?
I'm not.
It isn't up yet.
Oh, it hasn't come up? Okay, let me try it again.
Well, it might be that my machine is slow in downloading everything.
No, I can't see anything either.
No, me either.
Okay, then I'll just share my entire screen. Now, can you see something?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and now it will let me make it a little larger. It's unfortunately, it's got that window above. Oh, this is the wrong document. Okay, hang on.
Like the
That's the
agenda.
agenda.
There we go.
Okay.
I hate this bar at the top. I wonder if it would let me move that.
Hard to make it go away.
Now, that's a little better. Hide it at the bottom. Okay. And I will put it in page mode. Okay, so
This is what it looks like now, right?
yeah, this is pretty much
There we
what
go.
this one, this is the only section that I changed. I'll let you read through it. See if you spot anything.
I don't see anything.
No, me
Oh,
either.
neither.
I'm a
think it's
terrible
fine.
proofreader though. So
Of course, the question is, where we would do, well, I was thinking the tree bank includes or implies that we would be actually planting trees somewhere off the property from where they were taken.
Yes.
They could be put somewhere else. And so that's the part I wonder if we have areas in mind where that's even appropriate and possible. That's not private land.
Well, I don't think that the law states that. It just says that tree bank, we can actually replace trees on a different property from where they were removed. But it basically is if they can't put the trees on the property that's being affected,
Right.
that we would have the option of taking and putting a tree, say in one of our parks or one of our green
Okay.
spaces.
Well, that's what I
right
think that's
there.
what I meant. I guess I
Yes,
didn't.
that
very
is
well,
what
but-
it means.
So offsite, and so the thought is it would go in a park or along
Right.
one of the greenways where we have an easement or something.
Yes, our properties owned and
Okay.
maintained by the village.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this, I just really think it's interesting that we're trying to do something about trees in the village, because I see us losing them faster than we can ever replace them at this point.
Well, and that's one of the reasons we have this, is we want to stop losing as many trees as we lose, even if
Well,
we have development.
We've got to do something about our zoning law then. It's got to be in the planning board somehow that people can't just cut. Like the latest development up at the top of East Shore Drive on SD Circle is in the village, and they pretty much clear cut, I would say 2/3 of a very steep site, which they got permission to do. They got permission to put a house in there, and they've built a colossal house.
Mhm.
They didn't cut the bottom, which is right at the edge of the cliff. So
Right.
there is some vegetation there to sort of stop some erosion off that site, but
Is
I
that the
don't,
one in that development, the Black Chin over there? Or is that
no,
different?
it's closer than that. It's just at the top of East Shore Drive. Before you even get to the confluence of Hugo Heights Road
Okay,
and Route 34, there's a turn off to the left. You just can go out around SD Circle and you come back out on East Shore Drive. There's a big white modern house there that went in a few years ago, just a big white blocky looking thing. And then right just before you get to that house, this new thing went in. It's quite complex looking. It's got, a huge garage and attached,
I haven't been-
very large house. And I just, that kind of cutting is not going to make, it's going to end up making a very hostile environment for planting any new trees, because those are extremely thin soils, highly erodible. It's a west facing slope, which makes it really hard to get trees going because it's hot and dry. I have the same issue in my property. I don't plant trees. I just try to take care of what I've got, because it's really hard to keep a tree alive in this kind of environment.
I agree. And that's that example is one of the reasons we've come up with this. And there are things within this law that would specify, the number of trees and the size of the trees that should be left on a property. And if they decide that they cannot leave the trees, then they would pay for a new tree either to be planted on that site in another location,
Right.
or they would give us pay for a tree for the village to use where we want it. So we would at least
Well,
go a tree for tree exchange.
I wish we could make this retroactive, because by that reasoning, Dairy One owes us an entire forest.
Oh, I know.
They
So-
really do.
But-
That
but so
whole
yeah-
thing has just been so pathetic.
East
But so
Point would
that-
be the same thing.
that's the other issue. So like we have a development like East Point coming in, because I know Cornell wants to develop the land on the corner of 13 and Warren.
Yeah.
They're gonna cut down that entire forest of trees. Like
Yeah.
where are those trees gonna physically go once they do that? Right?
Well-
It's like a problem of.
Yes.
The
Yes.
other thing is you
Well,
cut down a huge
part of
tree and
the-
they replace it with some little dinky thing. The
Well, we have,
carbon
size that-
sequesters the larger trees.
yeah, we have a minimum size for a replacement, et cetera. Simon did a really great job of writing this law and researching writing this law. So it might not be perfect, but it's definitely a great start to something that we needed for quite some time.
What this is going to involve, though, is site visits that actually flag the trees that are going out that are the certain caliper size that would have to be replaced, a tree for a tree. Not everything on that site is worth keeping. There's a lot of buckthorn and trashy stuff in there because it's all an old go back field.
Right.
And it's come back in largely just, invasive species.
Yes.
And are some older trees on the site, and have to look to see which side of the power line, probably to the north of the power line, there would be more trees.
Right.
But there's a lot of junk in there, and we would just have to come up with a way of figuring out which trees are actually going out that are worthwhile trees to have replacements for. So if
I
you
think
take
in
out,
the law, there's an arborist provision. So an arborist has to come
Okay.
out and do that.
Okay.
Yes.
good. Someone has to
And-
do the groundwork.
Right. And we're specifying, we try to specify the types of trees that we want.
Good.
So No, I have seen a preliminary plan for the development on Uptown. It's very preliminary. There hasn't even been a formal request going through our code enforcement office. But they do show trees around the borders of the property. So we will at least have some trees there. If they don't keep the trees, then trees will be there, because one of the conditions, preliminary condition, is that they have a good boundary of trees to separate them from the other properties. But there are some places inside the property where trees would be appropriate, and it's a community, so they will want to make it green and put trees inside it, not just for decorations, but
But
for all
Bomax
the other-
didn't. Bomax had a forest and they didn't save any of their forest.
No, I was
No.
just gonna ask about East Point. There's
No.
not much in the way of planting in there. Everything is
No.
so tight.
No.
They didn't provide any kind of that. There were huge trees they could have left right along Bomax, the whole buffer. They could have had.
I
a
agree.
street there.
I agree.
They took it all down and put in one every 50 or 80 feet.
Right.
The
Are
the
we-
trees, the place you're talking about at 13 is butts up against Dankert Park.
Yes.
No. Oh, yes, yeah, it does.
And
Yeah,
on the west.
yeah.
Where the swim
that-
club is.
That border there is just incredibly beautiful maples in the fall. The
Yeah.
color last year was just unbelievable.
So that suggests reds and sugars, and they should be left alone.
Right.
And they're
There are
big.
and there are two problems that I see. And these are sort of basic concepts in forestry. I mean, one is that you remove trees that have been growing for a very, very long time, and you leave a few left standing. Those trees are going to then be very susceptible to wind damage and drying, heat and cold damage, because they no longer have their cohorts around them. And this has been proven over and over again, particularly in the Amazon basin, that there are certain forest plot sizes below which you cannot go and still have healthy trees. So you start to lose these big old trees once you've taken out everything around them.
Right.
It's just so clear that I just don't think that approach works very well. The other thing is, are we developing a list of things we absolutely should not be planting in the village? Because one of them should be calorie pears. They are wildly invasive. We planted them all
I
up
don't
and down
think so.
North Triphammer, and they are just taking off all over the place in all the little lots off to the side of North Trip around the Route 13 intersection. They're coming up all over, and they're wicked. They have big thorns. They're really nasty.
No.
I mean, I don't know if we're developed in that tree list. We should definitely have a list of things you should not be planting.
We'll probably have to refer to a list outside
Yeah.
of the law so that
Yeah,
we
and
can
get
change the
David
list.
Fernandez to help us.
You're right. We could
or one of
probably,
his
we don't
staff.
want to put it inside the law, because then every change requires an act
Right.
by the board. So, but
But
if
if
we
you
refer
had a
to.
suggested list.
Mhm.
We
And
thought, having fast growing tough street trees, the calorie pear fit the bill, but it turns out it's one of the most invasive non-native species anywhere. And it's taking over huge swaths of land to the extent that it can no longer be controlled, especially down in the sort of mid-Atlantic states.
Yes.
There are entire forests of the stuff that have grown up now, and you can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Really
I've
awful.
read stories about that. It's scary. It's
It
just
is
like,
scary.
it's like a zombie plant. It just consumes everything as it goes
It's
forward.
like kudzu, and then it has these huge thorns on it. So if
Yeah.
you don't want to walk through it.
No.
Anyway, that's just my thought. Two thoughts.
No,
Is
I
that-
agree. And that leads to the next topic. We've actually gone through the releasing the document to the Board of Trustees. So I will take care of that
Okay.
within the next day or so that they'll have time to look at it. The natural resources inventory. This is through the CSC task force, and the Cornell Cooperative Extension support team. We have two of them. Are going to start our natural resources inventory from a template that they've used for other municipalities, because the natural resources inventory is not just for the municipality, but for all of the surrounding municipalities. And they're going to put that together. Then there will be sections within that document that we will identify natural resources specific to our environment for within the village. So I would like to get input when we get to that point. It's not any time very soon, probably a month or beyond, to get input from all of you and potentially probably some planning board members on what we need to put in there. And while we're doing that, it's probably a good time to also put together the list you're talking about, Lynn, of trees and or shrubs that we do want and that we absolutely do not want. And the
Yeah, I
reasons
mean, it's going to be tough because you also want stuff that's deer resistant, and that's pretty hard because deer
resistant
tend,
is temporary because
it's
they change.
temporary.
It
So
just
what that calls for then is a protection system.
right.
But yeah, I don't think our deer pressure is as it was because
No.
nothing is eating
Thanks
my
to our
garden.
bow hunters.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I mean, I haven't seen a deer. I used to see herds of them,
Yeah,
but I don't think
Well-
deer resistance is as high of a priority as it used
they're all down here, I'll tell you.
to be.
Larry, how many have been taken off your property?
We took 3 the other night. Again, that makes it 12 or 14, I think.
Well, I thought it was more than that. I thought Barron was getting 3 and 4 at a time.
Well, he had got
So-
5 one night here.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh-oh.
Joey has taken out probably a dozen here.
Mhm.
And I just snowshoed around my place yesterday and I cannot believe the tracks.
Yeah.
You know, that's when I know how many deer I've got when I see
Last
it.
night
The
at
snow-
midnight,
no
there were
tracks.
4 out there, so.
Yeah,
I think
There are-
we've got a couple of deer that are still roaming around through our neighborhood,
dark.
but not nearly as many. as
but
we
I mean,
used
that says to me, we have to continue the
Yeah, you
hunting
can't
program
stop.
long after we're gone, that we have to keep doing this. We're gonna have to recruit new hunters too. These guys aren't getting any younger.
Yeah,
Well,
and
we're
Simon
losing-
won't be hunting anymore around
And
here.
Yeah,
Simon
no.
won't be hunting anymore. We'll have to bring him in though.
We
Yeah,
have our own woods. We have 20 acres of woods now, so.
Oh, well, then you can hunt
you've got to
there.
maintain your own work.
Yeah.
And you're gonna need to, because if you want your
Yeah.
woods to be reproducing, you're gonna have to hunt the deer.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to give you a heads up. Your support for the natural resources inventory is purely voluntary. But I figured that our team, our committee is a good source of preliminary and continued support through that document.
Yeah,
The CCE people are very good about doing 90% of the work.
yeah.
and
Was it
10% is
Rachel?
Rachel Zevin
Rachel does
and
this, yeah.
Regina
It'd
Cassidy.
It'd be really fun to work with them, you know, if they need boots on the ground, sort of, you know, starting spring, summer, fall. I'm happy to go out with them to
Oh,
help.
I think we should start now.
Yeah,
We'll just put
Yeah.
on our snowshoes and
yeah.
traipse
Well,
out.
the other thing is to pull together the information that's already out there. As we
Yes,
talked about in the CEC meeting.
Yes, yes.
And that was that, you know, we have a unique natural areas inventory. The Native Plant Society has, you know, lists of things. I don't know if they're necessarily in the village, but there are other sources of information that exist
Right.
already.
Yeah, I think that the CCE people will be taking advantage of those already, but we will have our part to do. So when it's getting closer to time, I will give you a heads up by
Okay.
email or something, and we can talk about it down the road. And so the final topic for today is scheduling our date and time for our 2022 meetings. I don't think we will have as many this year because we've done our update. We could meet quarterly.
That sounds fine with me. That sounds
does-
fine.
Does this day and time work best for everyone?
Did we always meet on Wednesdays or did we not meet on Thursdays?
We
For some
were meeting
reason,
on Thursdays, but Larry had a conflict, so we had to
Oh,
move it
that's
to
it.
Wednesday.
Okay.
Now it's better. Now Thursday might be okay, especially if we meet in the afternoon like this.
Yeah, Thursday's fine with me. So if we're meeting now, we wouldn't meet again till April.
Yeah, roughly April. If we did need to, I would let you know
Yeah.
well in advance.
Okay, but
One thing that is going on, Carolyn Greenwald is working with myself, John, and Mike to put together a sidewalk or a walkways plan that we will start supporting as a village through our budget on an annual cycle and work to fulfill installing or maintaining or expanding sidewalks and walkways through the village, primarily sidewalks. And so we've started that too. So we might have a meeting before April to discuss that a little bit, because I think, again, our committee would be a good source of feedback on that. But it's not anything that's critical right now. Our budget cycle starts early February and goes through April 15th. But we really just have to plan on sidewalks, and then we can start negotiating where the sidewalks should go. We might have information, we might not. So I will let you know if we need to have a meeting between now and April, but.
Are you gonna put a sidewalk on Dart just in time for us to sell the house?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to announce that you're leaving so that we could finally get that site. And, you know, that NICEAG threw a big wrench into the gears when they came along and said, we want to replace the
light poles.
gas line.
Oh, the gas line. Oh my God. Did
And
they
they
do
want
it?
to replace a 6-inch line with a 12-inch line. And I'm
Really?
trying to figure out why that's not considered an expansion if you're doubling the size, because the state has mandated that they cannot increase their pipeline. And a 6-inch to a 12-inch is an increase.
So, yeah.
A lot of gas running under the street too. I mean,
That's a lot.
And
And that's not double. That's, what is it, 3.5 times about something?
But
You figure because of
probably
area.
close to that, yes. And
Volumetric.
they don't remove the old line. They abandon it and put a new line somewhere near it. And it's just like, so we had to really go through hoops to tell them that they could not use our right of way. If they want to install a new line, they're going to have to get easements from all of those property owners. They wanted to go through our right of way, but we're going to use that right of way for a future water.
The
So
water line, and then where would the sidewalk was to go on the
North side.
south side of Dart?
no, north side of the road.
You know,
Yeah.
And did they want to dig up the road?
Yeah, they wanted to dig up our road and put in a
Right
pipeline.
after we put in a brand new road.
Yes, that was what delayed the start of our work, because we had to figure out what the state could and could not do. And finally, we just-
NICEAG has thrown monkey wrenches into just about everything the village has ever wanted to do. They are such a pain. What a royal pain.
no, they are.
They are
So,
huge.
I apologize, Monica, to you and Simon. The
all
sidewalk.
right, my
might
new
not be-
house does not have a sidewalk either. So, and it's a 45-mile-per-hour road. So I'm going worse.
Are you going to have to maintain your own
Oh.
road?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. So
Are you
it
in
is-
the
it's a-
town of Groton or the village?
Yeah,
You're in the
town.
town.
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
Where,
I mean,
where is it?
Pleasant Valley Road. So it's right off 34B.
Oh,
Just before, that big giant intersection of
Yeah.
34B. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like maybe 2 miles before that you turn off
Oh.
to Pleasant Valley.
oh,
That's a nice area.
Yeah, it's only like 8 miles from here. I'm not moving that
yeah,
far.
yeah. You're off Peruville Road then.
Yeah,
Okay.
just off. Yeah, so you can
Nice
take like
out
Old Peruville Road and it runs right into Pleasant Valley.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I look forward to seeing your place when it's presentable. So
Thanks. It'll be a while. I'm moving every
Okay.
wall. So
all right.
the
All right,
old
anyway,
house?
go ahead. Go
Is
ahead,
it an
Larry.
old house?
yeah, 1939 farmhouse.
No, not that old.
So, not that old considering. But
Yeah, but 1939, considering, the standards back then, they're pretty loosey-goosey. And if you want a nice, warm, tight house, you got to start over.
yeah, and there was a lot of additions added to it, so it's kind of weird, different levels, and it's all a bit weird.
So typical of old farmhouses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the family grew, you just kept adding on another room and another.
It's
Yeah.
like the Winchester house,
Yes,
is-
that's pretty. The one that she kept building, she went crazy and
Oh.
just kept building rooms on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's all I have for today, guys. I just
Well,
wanted
that's
to
great.
touch base, and I'll get the document out to the trustees. I'll let you know about the natural resource inventory. And I will schedule quarterly meetings starting in April. And so you'll get a heads up about those as invitations.
Did we
And
decide on
then-
the day? Did we decide on the day? Wednesday afternoon, Thursday afternoon? Either one is okay.
Thursday, we're going to go back to Thursday. If it's not okay, Larry, let me know. And we've got plenty of time to shift
Yeah,
everything.
I have no
We're doing it
conflict.
mid-afternoon like this, it's okay. It's the.
Yeah, I like the mid-afternoon.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
my
good for me
goal
because the kids are done with school. So,
by 3.
yeah.
Okay. My goal this year is to try to cut our meeting times, if not in half, by a third. So an hour-long meeting at a time, if we possibly.
Okay,
can.
sounds good.
That's not my selfishness. I just think that we all have thousands of meetings, and we're going to be crisp and clean and get our stuff done.
Well, then you get a 30-minute credit if we end right.
It'll just get shifted into the next meeting probably.
Only 30
But-
minutes into our meeting.
It's my goal to
Shift it
keep
to
our
another
meetings
meeting.
as short as possible. Time is time, and that's most precious.
And you have more
commodity.
meetings than all of us put together, probably, Ronnie. So
Sure.
I'm imagining.
Maybe. I don't know. I forget meetings, it's like
Yeah.
I'm at the age where I forget to go to a meeting. Oops, I forgot to go to that
Yep.
one. Oops.
Oh,
Wait a second, but like I do that all the time. So it's,
that's okay. We all
That
do
is
it.
that is human nature, I'm afraid.
Yep.
So anyway, thank you
Okay.
all for today. I hope
Sure.
you all stay healthy. Monica,
Oh, feel
feel
better,
fast.
Monica.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm,
You all
I'm getting
take care.
there.
Get well soon.
Thank
Are
you.
they going to put you on one of those electric current things that's supposed to make your bones knit faster?
Never heard of that, but no, I don't
Well,
think so.
I think it's a very mild electric current that they apply, and it causes the bone deposition to work faster
But
apparently.
I guess at this point, the bone doesn't matter anymore because I have a rod running right through it. So
Oh.
it's all lined up. Like, so I basically the bone doesn't matter anymore. I basically have a rod
Oh.
instead. So
So you're just going to
Yeah.
trip the x-ray every time you go through an airport.
basically, well, it's titanium. They promised me I wouldn't because I asked that question because it's titanium. So I don't know. We'll
I
see.
don't know.
I mean,
Oh,
with COVID, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon anyway.
I know.
So,
Yeah, nor are we.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
okay,
Well, feel
thanks
better.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
you.
Bye,
Have a good
guys.
afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.